and welcome to AirgunWeb.com, your home for honest, real-world airgun reviews and information, where we bring you the facts, not fluff. Today's video is a long time coming. If you want a highly customizable airgun that can go from 177 to 25 cal in various barrel lengths, run on HPA or CO2 with virtually no conversion effort, and drill one-hole groups at will, then you're going to want to pay attention to this video. The product line I'm referring to is, of course, the AirForce line of airguns. Today we look at the 22 caliber AirForce Talon SS running on HPA. I want to thank AirForce for providing us with our test product, BKL for our scope mounts, Leapers for our scope, and of course Pyramid Air for sponsoring this video. So now, let's take a good close-up look at the AirForce Talon SS. The AirForce Talon SS is an exceptional airgun that is more of a shooting platform than just a single airgun. Perhaps one of my favorite features is that it is still made in America, something that is increasingly difficult to find these days. The look and design of the AirForce line of guns is really utilitarian. They are mostly all metal, with composite used only on the grip and forearm from what I can see. Rather than weight the gun down with the bulky stock, AirForce designed the air tank reservoir to double as the butt of the gun. While not terribly comfortable in my opinion, it does work and makes for a pretty light gun in the end. The air tank for the Talon SS connects to the rear of the receiver and contains the valve of the rifle. This is another area where AirForce maintained the concept of simplicity. With this design, there is very little that can go wrong with the receiver of the gun. Another unique feature of the AirForce line of utility guns is the power adjuster located on the side of the receiver. By turning this adjustment, you can dial in the spring tension to give you the desired power. This version of the Talon has a fairly short barrel that is concealed inside the front shroud of the gun. This greatly reduces the rapport of the gun. Even with the shrouded and capped barrel, the gun registered a little higher than I would have liked in our indoor test at around 112 dB. Without the cap, it is significantly louder. The AirForce line of guns are a single-shot bolt-action design. The bolt is cocked by pushing it forward, revealing the breech of the gun. My test gun is one of the most versatile guns that I've ever tested. If the pellet fit in the breech, it was nearly guaranteed to shoot well at 10 yards. The AirForce guns have 11mm rails on the top and bottom of the barrel shroud as well as on the top of the handrail. I chose to use the BKL auto-centering mounts, which are a subsidiary of AirForce Airguns and also made here in the USA. These mounts tightly grip the Talon's rail, and where other mounts may cant one direction or the other, these auto-center by design. They are very rugged mounts that hold like iron. I used a compact Leapers 3-12x44 SWAT scope to round out my test package. This scope not only works well, but I think the looks also match the rifle exceptionally well. Lastly, the trigger on the AirForce Talon is very nice. It had an average pull weight of 2 pounds and is very smooth. While the look and feel of the Talon SS is not traditional, the whole package works and works very well. The Talon SS, as configured here, is set up to run on high pressure air, or HPA. The butt of the Talon SS is actually the HPA reservoir of the rifle. It holds up to 3,000 psi and holds more volume than most PCP airguns that I've reviewed. Our test gun got over 200 shots on the lowest setting without significant change in point of impact at 10 yards. At higher settings, that number will decrease. Now, even at the highest usable velocity, we got close to 100 usable shots out of our Talon SS. But before you shoot the Talon SS, you need to charge the tank. The process is very simple and looks like this. The first thing we need to do is to remove the reservoir from the gun. Next, I'm going to use this AirForce Quick Disconnect fill adapter. It screws on like that. I'm going to plug it into my Air Venturi carbon fiber tank. The nice thing about using this particular setup is that Air Venturi includes an auxiliary pressure gauge. Why that's important is that this tank does not have a pressure gauge on it, so it's important that you know exactly how much air you're putting into this tank, especially when you're working off a 4,500 psi tank. So I've shut my relief valve. I'll open the port and shut it off when it hits 3,000 psi. Go ahead and release the relief valve. Disconnect the tank. Remove our fitting. And reinstall the air tank on the gun. Now the gun's ready to roll. Once the rifle is charged, it's basically ready to go. The mechanism works very intuitively, and it is a single-shot bolt-action design. To shoot the Talon SS, you cock the gun by pushing the breech open, then you load the pellet of your choice into the breech and close the bolt. There's an automatic safety in front of the trigger, so when you're ready to shoot, simply push the safety forward and squeeze the trigger. The process looks like this. Do that one more time for you. It's that simple. One of the unique features of the AirForce line of guns is the ability to dial in the power. There are many factors that go into the effect changing the power setting actually have. From talking to the folks at AirForce, barrel length is a very important factor. Given our very short barrel length with the Talon, the changes across the power curve are pretty minimal. I shot several groups at various power levels starting at 3 and going up to 12. I made sure to top the tank off between each test. Here are the average velocities for each group with the 14.3 grain JSB Diablo Exact Jumbo Express pellets. At power level 3, we had an average of 789 feet per second and 19.77 foot-pounds. At power level 6, we averaged 815 feet per second with an average power of 21.09 foot-pounds. At power level 9, we topped out at 827 feet per second and an energy of 21.76 foot-pounds. Now going to power level 12, we actually saw a decrease in performance. Our average velocity was 821 feet per second, and our energy was 21.42 foot-pounds. With such a minimal difference between the lowest versus the highest, and that was just a mere 38 feet per second, I set the rifle at 3 for the rest of my testing. I'd rather have more shots than an extra 38 feet per second. Using the 14.3 grain JSB Diablo Exact Jumbo Express pellets again as a baseline, I shot 30 shots on power level 3. Here are my results. I had a high of 823 feet per second, a low of 788 feet per second, an average of 801 feet per second. The average energy was 20.40 foot-pounds. Considering that you can maintain this type of consistency over about 100 shots, the AirForce is truly a force to be reckoned with. It's hard to judge any gun after the groups we got from our Crossman Marauder pistol. But the AirForce Talon shoots a very close second, at least at 10 yards, and it actually does better at 20 yards. One of the advantages to the AirForce rifle over the Marauder pistol is its flexibility with various pellet shapes and sizes and weights. If you can get the pellet in the breech, it's probably going to shoot well. In the end, you'll just have to pick the pellet you like, zero your scope, and go shooting. I chose the 14.3 grain JSB Diablo Exact Jumbo Express pellets for my tests as they're a very good baseline pellet. Let's take a look at these shot groups. So here's my scorecard for the AirForce Talon SS. Here are the cons. Frankly, it's really hard to find anything wrong with the AirForce Condor. But if I'm going to be objective, there's a couple things I want to talk about. One, while it is pretty quiet, it's not as quiet as it could be. It still registers about 112 dB on my indoor tests. I would also say that the form factor can be a little awkward at times. Now here are the pros. The massive air reservoir is perfect for a long day of hunting. The consistency over a large number of shots is very impressive. And your initial purchase is just the beginning, given the vast upgradability of this product. Lastly, the accuracy across a wide range of pellets is second to no other rifle that I've tested so far. So let's put this all together in our final summary. At around $524, the Talon SS is actually an inexpensive PCP air rifle, but it does not act like an inexpensive rifle. It's a total joy to shoot, and you can shoot it a very long time on just one full charge. The features and upgradability of this gun are really something else, and I look forward to doing more reviews of those features in the future. I'd like to take a moment and thank the folks at Leapers for providing the scope, BKL for the auto-centering scope rings, and AirForce for providing our review product. Of course, I'd like to also thank Pyramid Air for sponsoring our channel and providing the supplies for this review. You can find all the products we used in this review on their website at www.pyramidair.com. When you're looking for your next airgun or you're looking to fill your next airgun supply order, please visit www.pyramidair.com or give them a call at 888-262-4867. Be sure to let them know that you learned about them here at Airgun Web. When you're looking for honest, real-world airgun reviews, think Airgun Web, where we tell you the facts, not fluff. I'm Rick Utzler with AirgunWeb.com. Thanks again for watching.